The Navy SEAL graduation had reached its most sacred moment. Rows of young men stood in perfect formation, their uniforms pressed, their eyes sharp with pride and exhaustion. Families filled the stands, clapping, cheering, some crying into folded programs. But when one commander's eyes fell on a single woman in the crowd, the celebration faltered. Her trembling hands clutched a small flag, her son's name stitched in gold. And on her forearm, revealed beneath her sleeve, a faded tattoo caught his gaze. A mark he recognized. One that shouldn't have been possible. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The woman's name was Marissa. She had spent 2 decades raising her son alone, working 2 jobs, and fighting off the heavy silence of nights when she thought he might never come home. She thought she'd lost him once already, when the Navy letter arrived, explaining. He had been critically injured during training, but against every odd, he had survived. And now, as she sat among a sea of proud families, her heart raced not with pride alone, but with fear. Because the tattoo on her arm wasn't a symbol of celebration. It was a memorial that a whisper rippled through the officers seated on the platform as the commander paused mid-speech. The crowd hushed. Soldiers shifted uneasily in their boots. The tattoo was unmistakable, an anchor entwined with thorns, the same emblem worn by a fallen SEAL years earlier, a man who had died saving the commander's life. That soldier had been Marissa's husband, her son's father. And the commander, frozen in place, was the only living witness to that sacrifice. Marissa lowered her arm, but it was too late. The commander stepped down from the podium, his polished shoes striking against the stage like drumbeats in a silent hall. Every graduate watched in rigid silence. Families leaned forward. Even the American flag overhead seemed to hang motionless. In the hot coastal air, he stopped in front of her son, a tall, solemn young man whose chest rose and fell with nervous pride. The commander's voice, low but steady, cut through the air. Cadet Hayes stepped forward. The young man obeyed, his eyes darting between his mother and the commander. The world seemed to hold its breath. For a heartbeat, no one knew what was about to happen. Would the ceremony be derailed? Would shame or accusation follow? Then the commander spoke again, louder this time, his voice shaking with something raw. He told the gathered crowd about a mission long ago, when chaos reigned, and one SEAL chose to stay behind so his brothers could live. He told them about bravery that carried no guarantee of recognition, only the certainty of sacrifice. And then, looking at Marissa's tattoo, he confessed, "Your father was that man. And today, his son stands before us." A thunder of emotion crashed through the silence. The crowd erupted, not in whispers but in applause that rattled the air. Some families rose to their feet, clapping through tears. Marissa buried her face in her hands, trembling, overwhelmed by the sudden collision of grief and pride. The commander saluted the young graduate, not as a superior officer, but as a man honoring a legacy. And in that moment, every cadet felt the weight of what it meant to wear their uniform, not for glory, but for the unbroken chain of courage that stretched across generations. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And so, beneath the blazing sun and the echo of applause, Marissa realized something she had once thought impossible. She had not lost her husband entirely. His courage had lived on, written into the heart of their son, revealed at the very moment the world was watching. If this story touched you, share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this, stories that remind us that sacrifice, courage, and love never fade.